So just what are the current market conditions in Camas, Washington? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Today is August 1st, 2022. I'm going to give both buyers and sellers a clear picture of where the market's at this time in Camas and a current state of the market here in Camas. And what is more important than the current market conditions? The answer is nothing. For all the latest conditions on the market conditions in Camas, subscribe to my channel. All of my contact information is below each video in the Show More section. And don't hesitate to contact me about any questions you may have. You can text, call, or email me. Okay, I try to do one of these once a month. This is for August 1st, 2022. Be aware that this report is for houses. We can do condos as well. And they're not appreciably different. The numbers vary a little bit, but the statistics are very similar. But again, this is for single-family homes. If you want to see all the statistics in 8 communities in the Portland, Vancouver area, then come to my website, relocation-redefined.com. Okay, we've been in unprecedented times, and we hear that a lot with COVID and so on, but COVID has affected the lending policies and the interest rates, and they were at historic lows for a very long period of time. And now with, in my opinion, an overcorrection by the Fed to curb inflation, currently market mortgage rates are at about 5.5%. The market's changing a lot since earlier this spring when it was a feeding frenzy to buy homes. But the fact is we are normalizing. The period we were in the spring in the last couple of years was a phenomenon that we will possibly never see again in our lifetimes, with the interest rates below 3% and exceedingly low inventory, which meant buyers had a really tough time with competition for getting homes into contract. Contrasted by now, when the interest rate is about 5.5%, this is causing a market shift in the mind of buyers. Anytime we see the numbers starting to go down, we think the sky is falling. But truly, from a market standpoint, we are normalizing. Market times in normal periods tend to be about 3 to 4 months on average to get a home sold, and we are probably headed for that. And we have a ton of people waiting in the sidelines to see what happens. How low will the prices go? And when will the market bottom out? So the data here does not predict the future, although we can see trends. And we can also see normal seasonal fluctuation. And my job here is to interpret whether what we're seeing is a seasonal change in the market or an abnormal shift. So let's go down and look at the 3-year graph. Median days on the market, currently at about 35 days, which is really fairly low compared to historical data. We got up to about 112 days on market in March of 2020. And in the spring, we always reach a peak where we're getting ready for the seasonal big demand in buying, and market time goes down, and we see that. But we can see right now, compared to where we were about 3 years ago, median days on market are not historically significant. Median list price. We all like to see list prices going up, and they have been for the last 3 years. They have dipped somewhat since 2021. August of 2021. But here, if we look at the weekly average, we kind of bottomed out and we're coming back up. So as far as median list price, sky has not fallen. Let's look at inventory. Inventory is going up a lot. 81 properties on the market as of the end of July compared to 250 3 years ago. I mean, we have a long way to go on inventory. So even though we are not used to seeing inventory, this statistic is not statistically negative. In fact, for buyers, this is good news. Let's look at price decreases. These are properties that either went 6 months on the listing and didn't sell and they're relisted, or they've taken it off the market for 30 days so they can get a reset on days on market and also list it with somewhat fresh data to the public. We're seeing a pretty significant uptick in relisting property. And it's hard for me to analyze at this point whether this is significant or not, because this spring, before the interest rates went up, people were anticipating values to continue to rise. And when the interest rates went up, property values no longer were going up anymore. And so they had to lower their prices from their optimistic value that they put on them based on what the market was doing previous to the raise in interest rates. So I don't know if this is going to continue or not, whether we're going to see more properties relisted or whether that number is going to come down. So let's look at the market action index. Up here, market action index is currently 63, which is where we're at right here on the weekly average. Market action index is still relatively high. It is still a strong seller's market, although it's come down a bit. But if we go back to December, August, if we go back 3 years, market action index was about 35. So we have a long way to go process of the market normalizing. And the primary reason the market action index is coming down is because we have a fairly flat level of sales with increasing inventory. And the market action index is based on the rate of sales versus the inventory. Sales are remaining fairly constant. They're not going crazy like they were, but the inventory is definitely going up, which brings the market action index down, where you're still in a strong seller's market in Camas. The absorption rate in Camas is still looking really good. This is 1 week's data. The new and absorbed down here at the bottom. New is new listings, and these are in 4 categories, up to 550,000, up to about 700, up to about 937, and then top category of most expensive homes. So at the lower end, we see we had 4 come on the market last week and 5 absorbed. Category up, we had 4 and 4. And then we had in the $937,000 category, we had 7 new and only 2 absorbed. And then at the top category, we had 2 new and 3 absorbed. Also notice the days on market is widely different depending on your price point. So with this, what is my advice for sellers? Put your home on the market as soon as possible. Inventory is increasing and probably will continue to increase as long as the interest rates don't come down. And if they come down incrementally towards 4, we're probably going to see a few more buyers entering the market. But when we get down to about 4%, that's my prediction from where we're going to start seeing many more buyers re-enter the market. So until interest rates normalize, we're going to see those who really have to sell do whatever they need to do to sell, and that's generally reduce the price. So we will probably see price reductions continue during the foreseeable future. When I say get your property on the market as soon as possible, I am not saying don't put it on the market before it's ready. Curb appeal is going to be an extremely important component of selling a home in this upcoming market. Before, as long as it had 4 walls and was standing, people would look at it because there was so little inventory out there. When there's more inventory, people are going to gravitate to the nicest and the places with the best curb appeal. And so don't put your home on the market before it's ready, but get it on the market as soon as possible. For realtors, we're going to have to get back to basics. That means not just putting a home on the market on the MLS and waiting for offers. No, we're going to have to start getting back to basics, which is doing really quality photos that showcase the property, make it look as good as possible. And part of that's going to be you, the consumer looking to sell, decluttering your home, make sure the outside looks inviting. The assumption is going to be if the outside looks crummy, the inside is going to look crummy. We're also going to see a lot more open houses as the market normalizes. You home sellers are going to need to adjust your expectations. I had a client say, well, I don't need to negotiate. And my comment to that was, you absolutely do. That time has passed. We're going to go back to the adage, the old adage that statistically, your first offer will be your best offer. Now, of course, that's not always the case. Statistically, in a normal market, that has been the case. So your first offer could be your best offer. Don't be quick to reject it or counter it in a really severe way. We want to try to keep any offer alive and moving towards a target where it works for both parties. Okay, now let's shift to buyers. My advice to buyers who are not currently owning a home, they don't have a home to sell, they want to buy a home and don't own another one, wait for interest rates to come down. Inventory is on the increase. This is going to provide you with many more options. Although right now the buyer's environment has improved greatly, aside from interest rates. I would wait for the interest rates to come down or near 4%. Although, ponder this, you marry the house and date the rate. You can always refinance. Interest rates come down, and the fact is, if this is the right time for you to move, then it's the right time for you to buy. So now let's talk about buying a home and selling a home at the same time. I don't see a downside to selling your existing home and getting cash to buy your next home. Cash offers can close in 2 weeks, and unlike the market we've left, we're going to have much more opportunities to get the desirable home into contract in a short period of time, as opposed to multiple offers and escalating sale prices. No, in many cases you may be the only offer. So don't be afraid to sell your current home and not be able to find a new one. No, inventory is increasing and in your favor. So I hope this short update on the market in Camas has been informative. Don't forget to come to my website, relocationredefined.com, and sign up for let's do that right now. I'm at relocationredefined.com. Let's push real estate market reports. And here we go. Washington real estate, Camas, Ridgefield, Vancouver, Washougal, Oregon real estate, Beaverton, Happy Valley, Portland, and Tigard. Push any of these, bingo, there you are. You're right on the market report that I've been going over with you on this video. With that, I am waiting for your text, call, or email. Thank you.